Grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in you, 'cause real women don't bitch. No, real women don't. 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 Real women don't bitch.
Hey, thank you for joining me on the Real Women Don't Bitch podcast. This is your proud host, August Crenshaw, aka Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. I am the #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs because building mental muscle is necessary in order to implement successful business strategies. This show has been created for the woman who is not excuse-driven and needs help building a profitable business. I will be interviewing women from various fields who are willing to break the silence on struggles that specifically affect female entrepreneurs. Welcome to a show where I and guest speakers from time to time share our methods that help us beast our business no matter what is going on in our lives. Whether you are an online or brick and mortar business owner, this show is for you. We will hit every angle, personal, professional, and spiritual. Why? Because on any given day, you get hit with shit from a scenario involving one, more, or perhaps all of the above. It all impacts you and your mindset towards your business. I have made it my personal mission to provide a space where we dive deep into the BS we face on a day-to-day basis. Hey, how you guys doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good all of those things, depending on what time you are chiming in. Oh man, I was riding my bike and I was having all of these different thoughts go through my mind. And I'll be honest, this one didn't solely come to me as a outright blatant epiphany, because I've been reading this book called Mastery, and the gentleman was, talking about your circle in so many respects. And part of the conversation just stayed in my ear, and I thought about how I've grown up and the people that I've wanted to be around because I've wanted to save them, and how I actually ended up reverting to or subscribing to behaviors that really didn't suit me. And if I didn't get off the wrong path, I wouldn't be where I am today. And then looking at my life now and how, it's important for you to periodically check your circle, because you may subscribe to things that may make you stagnant in your business, et cetera, et cetera. And I wanted to really break this down to you guys and what I consider to be more layman's terms, because it sounds simplistic to say that, you need to be around people that are striving. And it sounds simplistic to say that, you're the average of the 5 people around you. But I believe a lot of you all still look with the hope of potential instead of realizing that you literally need to make an adjustment. And you need to be surveying your tribe and your circle on a regular basis and reevaluating who you are and where you're going and what your life is looking like. So when I was younger, I'm the product. I'm a mother who, my mother had, look, I'm the product. My mother had 5 children. Now I was raised by my grandparents and she raised the other 4, all blessings and love and respect to my mother. But my siblings grew up with more of that ghetto hood, street survivor mentality, where I was exposed to upper middle class living. And the importance of education was impressed upon me. I went to church every Sunday. And so my value systems and my expectations for life were different than my siblings. And so when I would finally begin to connect with them and go around them, I would look at the way that they were living, and I could see that it was going to lead them down a path that wasn't going to do them, any good. But I didn't look at it as, well, I shouldn't be around them. I was like, you know what?
I'm going to help them know what I know. I'm going to help them see what I see. And if I can do that, then their lives will change. And so it started with my brother that's right up under me. And I would tell him all the time, man, what you need to do is you need to get away from all of the stuff that you're used to so you could begin to experience something different. And so here it is. I'm 19 years old. I had a baby. I was living on Section 8 and welfare and food stamps, but also going to school and hustling on the side and doing what I had to do in order to survive. And I told my brother to come and stay with me. Now, mind you, I have this philosophy, and there are other people who say the same thing, that when two people are together, but matter of fact, the Bible says, how can two walk, unless they agree? When two people are together, if one's going to the left and the other's going to the right, you're going to go apart from each other. Well, that sounds easy. Once again, this is why I say I believe my description is going to be more layman's terms. There are always still some kind of commonalities or cores that keep us tied together. And so it's not always a blatant, they're going all the way left and I'm going all the way right. It looks like we're all progressing and going ahead, but they're kind of, it might only be like a 1 degree shift to the left and you're really a 1 degree shift to the right. But what ends up happening is that you guys will teeter-totter, going back and forth, testing each other's lifestyles or philosophies and principles. And then eventually, before you know it, one of you begins to start drifting to the left or the other one to the right. And it's very subtle. It's not all, when it's blatant, we don't fuck with it, right? Here it is, you trying to, sell dope and I'm over here building an empire. It's like, no, I'm not messing with you. But if I meet you and I think that you're building an empire and I later find out how you're building an empire, I may have been woven into your core beliefs without even realizing it. And so what would end up happening is I had my brother come out there and stay with me, and I lived a significant distance away from the people that he was used to. It wasn't easy to get there by bus. He didn't have a car. And so I'm thinking, yeah, I got him over here on my turf. And so we're going to read and expand his education, and we're going to do all of this stuff, and we're going to stop him from thugging and getting him off the streets. And one thing led to another, and it was like, well, I got to take care of this. So psych has to come to your apartment and, pick me up. And there's always an excuse to kind of, tiptoe back into relationships with those people that were from the neighborhoods. And I knew his friends and I liked his friends too. And they were good people. They helped me move and, they down for who they down for. And what would end up happening without me realizing it, because I think everything is cool, right? Why? Because I'm still going to school and pursuing my education. Why? Because I'm still being a good mother and taking care of my children. Why? Because I'm still building my business, doing hair, and I'm doing all of these great things that I'm not really paying attention to how I'm gradually changing. So I go from the young woman who doesn't want anything to do with weed and, I like to go out and dance, but I ain't really trying to be drunk and all of that stuff, to starting to love, my mystic with a little bit of E&J, to me trying, smoking weed, to me clubbing a whole lot. And because I'm young and I got a lot of energy, it doesn't make me any difference, because I can still get up in the morning and do my client's hair and still show up bright-eyed, bushy tail. And then one day it finally happened that my brother got a car and my car was down, and I was like, well, cool, let's just run up the street and, get some groceries. And I was like, let me drive. And that day we got pulled over by the police, and because I was driving, even though he was the responsible party in the car, the officer was like, well, you're driving, so I'm arresting you. Even though my brother did stand up and say, hey man, it's my car, da da da. Come to find out, the vehicle actually had stolen parts on it and a whole bunch of other crap. And I remember being scared to shit. And how did I get swooped up into his world? You know what I'm saying? How did I get swooped up into his world? Because I'm not any of these things that he is, but I'm around him. And so his world began to swallow me up. And some decisions had to be made. And needless to say, he ended up going back to the South Side. And I still, stay connected to my family or whatever. But There's a whole lot of other pieces in the story, of course, 'cause I'm not going to tell you guys everything about my life, but I had to let that go in order for me to stay on track and do what I was doing. So I wanted so desperately for him to drift to my way, my lifestyle. But his lifestyle was pulling him so hard because, this didn't happen overnight. This is some things that happened well over the duration of like maybe a year and a half, 2 years. And I would find myself still kind of, getting sucked back in, all because I wanted to save him. Now, so you guys got a little bit more of my personal life. But guess what? In business, you guys are doing the same thing. There are some individuals who may think I'm a little bit more cutthroat. People look at me and they say, oh my God, August is so loving. She's so compassionate. When they see my summits and the stuff that I put on, it's like, oh, she is for the people and all of these things. But for the individuals that have crossed me, or for the individuals that I've identified that our value systems are not the same, let me tell you guys something that I do. I will cut you the fuck off. If I haven't cut somebody off that isn't any good to me, it's because I haven't realized it yet. I'm just a little bit blind. And I've even cut people off even after substantial levels of investment. I'm talking about like paying a coach $6,000 to be in a 90-day program, $2,000 a month, only to find out that she was full of shit with her values and I wasn't going to mess with it. So a lot of you all, you're doing the same thing in your entrepreneurial endeavor. You're connected to other people that are entrepreneurs and you got this hustle and this swag and you didn't learn some things and you giving it all you got and you pushing. And guess what? The entrepreneurs that you're around, they're basically, they've created entrepreneur jobs and they're subscribing to a level of mediocrity. And guess what? You still somewhere playing Captain Save an entrepreneur. And what you don't realize is that your insatiable appetite to succeed and having high standards is going to be doom, not light, on their lifestyle. And they're going to tell you don't have to push as hard. They're going to tell you don't have to do as much. They're going to tell you it's not that serious. Even in the midst of all of this shit that's going on with COVID, and everybody should be thinking about how they can step their game up because you never know what the fuck is going to come down the pipeline being in this wonderful old US of A. And if you don't stop, you're going to be like, okay, well, I go hard. You know what I'm saying? I go hard all the time. So if I just take a break like they said and I go do this one thing, and before you know it, you're going to go down a degrees. It's like a thermometer. I remember hearing a speaker say it one time that, if you're a person that's usually, at 100 degrees and you're around a bunch of people that are on 75, they're either going to turn up to 100 or guess what? Before you know it, your vibe is going to go down to that 75. And it's one of those things, like I said, it's going to be so subtle. It's going to be so subtle that you're going to miss it and you're going to kill that. So I look at people and, I'm like, I pay attention to if their work ethic stays solid. I pay attention to the words that come out of people's mouth. I pay attention to a lot of things. And when I start seeing something that doesn't line up with that core beast inside of me, then I distance myself if they weren't that close in the first place, or I cut people off. I'm not here to try to save anybody. Yes, I'm a coach and I want to help entrepreneurs, but I want to help entrepreneurs that want the beast inside of them turned on. They just got some confusion in their life. And so they need a little bit of direction, and some direction will open them up to be creative. But I'm not here to save anybody. So many of you with the savior mentality, you're going to find yourself suffering in your business. So, that's my nugget for you all today. Recheck your circle, look at what's going on with your tribe, take a look at yourself and see if you're drifting 1 degrees or 0.1 degrees, because you're going to turn around and you're going to look up and you're going to be like, how the fuck did I get here? And it ain't going to be to the place of success. It's going to be in the land of mediocrity. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.
Thank you for joining me today. Remember to cultivate a mindset that is biased towards taking action. No bitching, whining, or complaining. Here, our mantra is, real women don't bitch, we get shit done. see you next week as I continue to bring you what you need to keep your head in the game and beast your business. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Would you like a specific topic covered? Have a question you would like answered live? Then head on over to realwomendon'tbitchpodcast.com. Subscribe to my email list, hit me up, and I got you. Interested in being a guest speaker? You walk the walk? Then you can sign up on the website too. This is your #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs, Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless, signing out. Deuces!
Inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in